Hello, I'm Josh from Here for the Sun Showbiz at the Silver Clef Awards red carpet, ready to get all the goss. Oasis, it's their reunion kicking off next week. What's your favourite Oasis song? Are you going to go to the concerts at all? What are you thinking?
So Oasis obviously would have been soundtrack to my teenage years, so many memories baked into their music. I think Live Forever for me will still be the one I go back to, just because it's such a beautiful anthem to that feeling when you're young and you're with your mates and you really do think this will never end, and then there's all that nostalgia that's in there, isn't there? So
roll with it, kind of like that. What's the one we're on the roof, the very, very first one? Supersonic. I remember seeing that. Our daughter, I think, was 2 at the time, and it was on whatever the show was called at the time, Going Live or whatever it was, on Saturday morning. And there were some great songs on that morning, and then their video came on. It was where you used to judge the videos, you know, and their song came on, and they're on this roof in Manchester just having it, going for it. And I just thought, oh, music's changed then. That's nice.
My favourite song is Champagne Supernova. Weirdly, I don't know if you saw Cardi and David out front, who are doing the interviews on the blue carpet out front. They were my singing teachers when Comic Relief does Fame Academy. I sang Champagne Supernova in the final with Jules Holland in his band, so that particular song means something important to me for that.
Wonderwall.
Yeah, Wonderwall. Love that. Yeah. And what does their music mean to you, if anything?
Well, it means that I'm too old.
they mean putting it on compilation tapes, listening to it in car journeys with my parents.
I love that.
Yeah.
It was like from that moment on, British music just changed, I think, for a little while, and obviously we got Britpop out of all that.
And are you going to be going to the concerts with your daughter?
Yeah, I'm going to Manchester, yeah.
Oasis are kind of like my brother and I's band, in that we've seen them together loads. We're going to see them in Edinburgh together on the reunion, and so they were there as such, you know, and so present in such a big chunk of my life, both in terms of before I got into this world and during it. I remember for my when I was at college, and we were learning to do multimedia stuff, and we had to create what I guess was the early stages of like a website, and mine was on Oasis, definitely maybe. Cut to me interviewing Liam and Noel, and it's like, life's weird, man.
Congratulations on your award this evening. I feel like pop is having such a big resurgence in the last 5 years or so. Personally, I think so. Anyway, Sabrina Carpenter, Dua, yourself, right. And you're coming back to proper pop music now. Was that like a conscious decision after this big resurgence in it?
I can totally see why you'd think that, but actually I was already planning to make a pop album from just before I released my last record, because my last record was quite an introvert, really. It was a little bit more escapist and introverted record, so I thought, right, it's time to bounce to the other side now, the extrovert side. So it was more that started the ball rolling, really, and then what happened with Murder was just a lovely bit of serendipity that made me feel like my instincts were in the right space. So no, it was just a happy, nice wave that filled the sails of the direction I was already going in.
Where is the 10th album? Have you started working on it?
No. We're having a quiet year this year, but I was in my little studio this morning. I like tinkering, so who knows, we'll see. I don't think you can, unless you've got something in the diary and everyone's waiting for it. I don't think anyone's waiting for anything I ever do, to be honest. I just kind of shuffle them out and we'll see.
I think you're always putting yourself down to it.
Well, but I was just saying that I don't think I'll ever stop making music. I just don't know whether anyone's going to listen to it, because I just like doing it. So.
Obviously, your farewell tour is coming up. How does it feel to be embarking on a tour like that? Which it feels final in some way.
It's great. I mean, the thing is, the amazing thing is that since I announced that I was going to do a farewell tour, the phone has never stopped ringing. My son, who was there, he's my manager.
Okay.
And it's gone berserk. But the tour anyway was going to be a good 2 years, because it takes in Australia, New Zealand, and all these world places, and Europe and all this. So it was over a 2-year tour, and now it's actually getting longer.
Right.
So this is.
You're just going to keep extending it.
I've got to keep extending it. Yeah. I just hope that I live it.
When you chat to the likes of Joaquin Phoenix and all of these A-listers, it must be hard to top that.
It is if you think about it like that, but I always just kind of go, they're just people.
Yeah.
So I'm a bit nosy.
Yeah.
And so I want to just kind of have a chat about that thing you just did. Do you know what I mean? In the same way that, I was in a car today, picked up at the station, lovely driver, Hussein, and I was just chatting to him about, like, how's your day been, sort of thing. And it's my approach that I really try and do is, like, shouldn't be any different.
No, for sure.
And it's kind of, sometimes they get it, sometimes they don't. And so it's nice when the ones that do get it, they just engage and they go, yeah, good, thanks. It's nice, it's refreshing.
There were so many cool people that you worked with on this record, Kathy Dennis, Emily Is there anyone who's since reached out since you finished it and said, hey, we can work together?
Do you know what? I went to the full pop sweet shop for this album, and I filled up my bag with as many sweets I could fill. So I think I got my fill, actually. Yeah. The people I've worked with, it's a lovely mixture of people I already loved working with, and then lots of artists and producers and writers that I'd always wanted to work with. So, no, I was super greedy.
Are there people you'd like to get on your next album in terms of maybe just a player or something like that?
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. I mean, obviously, Blossoms are amazing players and great musicians and, great writers, and I kind of think, yeah, it would be great to do something. And we have talked occasionally about doing something, you know what I mean, but don't know what that would be. I'm always a bit nervous of it because one of the weird things is I want to keep my friends as friends. And I don't want to go through a recording process and fall out with them. And so sometimes even people who you've met and you sort of think, oh my God, that would be amazing. You sort of think, yeah, but maybe just leave it where it is, So, I don't know. We'll see.
You don't want to fall out with Dave Grohl then?
I think he'd be hard to fall out with, really. He's a lovely bloke, so I think it'd be hard to fall out with him, I think. Yeah. I still get a bit intimidated meeting certain people, obviously, because we all do. Come on, I'm not going to do that, but we all do, No, I'm just saying.
Rick Astley?
She was talking about like a blackout sort of moment where it feels so good to be true, but yet it is.
Yeah.
Have you had like one of those blackout moments?
Probably doing one of the interviews for my podcast, either with Scorsese or Spielberg. I mean, I cried after both of them. And then weirdly, I record the audio and then I give the audio to my friend Ben who edits it. So then I don't always listen back to them because it's weird. I hate hearing my own voice. But with those two, I wanted to and I had to. And it was really weird with Scorsese particularly. There's things that we talk about that I can't even remember having that conversation. So I think that was definitely one of those experiences.
Is there any like big musical ambitions that you haven't fulfilled yet that you'd really like to?
No, I've done the Palladium.
You've done a lot.
The Albert Hall. I've done the Glastonbury. I've done most of the world, and I've toured the world many, many, many times. So,
yeah.
I'm still happy that people still want to see me.
Yeah, exactly. It must just
and
be.
I'm happy that I've still got the.
Well, that's the thing. Not many people would still have their voice as they get older, right?
At my age, 82, and I'm singing as good as I ever was.
Yeah.
Really.
Amazing. And how do you protect it? Do you have to do exercises? Do you have to eat special things or any of that?
Oh, I drink special things.
Would you like to go back to the pyramid stage?
I don't know. Look, I'm very, very fortunate I got to play the Pyramids. I'm a pop girl from the early noughties. I don't think there's many people that get to make that jump, and I really understood how lucky I was on that day. But Glastonbury will always have a piece of my heart. It's one of the first festivals I ever played. I think I did Glastonbury 97. So anytime they have me, I go.
Okay, well 2027, 30 years of your first appearance, I'm going to make it happen.
That's nice, we can start the petition today.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks.
What do you want to be doing when you're 80? Do you expect to be doing like
I want to be drinking something fantastic in Italy on a beach.
that you've brewed yourself?
Maybe, yeah. No, glass of red wine on a beach, singing with my feet in the sand with a red sparkly jacket on.
I always find there's no worse critic than yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you feel it and you know what it's like when you come out of it. And sometimes you do need just that moment of kind of clarity for someone else to give you some constructive feedback on it, which something I crave because you don't get the opportunity to receive it that often. I think there's a kind of dark world out there of people being too quick to criticise, but there's not in terms of constructive criticism out there, and it's something that I think is someone who strives to be as good as they can be. That's the only way you learn.
Murder on the Dance Floor being a massive anthem thanks to Saltburn. Tell me, would you like your music to be used on more movies? Are you kind of in talks to maybe do any kind of movie themes or movie anthems?
I think anyone that answers yes to that question is misunderstanding how special it is when lightning strikes. It's very easy when you get something that's really heady and exciting to think, I want more of that. But actually, the trick is actually totally embracing, acknowledging how wonderful it is and how magical while you're in it. I think I'd get absolutely like giddy if that was how I lived all the time. The beauty is when it's happening to just enjoy the rush.
You can still have a proper drink, right?
Oh yeah, like, I'm a real ale fan.
Okay, maybe that's the secret.
And a real wine fan.
All of it.
Real whiskey fan.
I just wanted to touch on, obviously you mentioned Glastonbury, there was some dark sides to that we saw at the weekend. Is it time for musicians and pop stars to shut up about political statements and just get on stage and entertain and
I think
sing?
there's a time and a place for it, and there's a time and a place to say obviously things you want to, but I also think some things just should not be said, and things need to be put in perspective and in the right time and place. You know, freedom of speech is a massive thing we have to protect. Some things should just be left to your own opinion, in my opinion. And I'll be slated for that, and that's okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.